Thank you very much, DK. Let me acknowledge first Ms. Simone Thornmora, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, members of the board of the AHDC present here today, Mr. Brent Lyons, very hardworking Managing Director of the AHDC, other members of the management team of the AHDC, those members who are responsible for what we are here today to do. I also want to acknowledge you, the new homeowners. Let me acknowledge as well the media here present today. And a warm good afternoon to you all. Welcome to Couva. Welcome to the AHDC's Village Plaza here in Couva. This beautiful auditorium, available to you all to rent, because we at the AHDC need some revenue, was made available to us for free because at the HDC, while we recognize that these distribution ceremonies are important because we love to celebrate a very happy moment with you, it's also important for us at the Ministry of Housing to speak to the national population, to the national community, to announce policy. So I'm delighted to be here with you, to celebrate with you this enormous and very important step in your lives towards affordable home ownership. And at these housing distribution events, I normally try to deliver a speech that is lighter and happier, a celebratory speech. But today I must address some issues that have been in the national sphere, conversation issues in the past week. And it's very unfortunate that there are those in the population with some questionable agendas who try to change the national conversation in an attempt to overshadow the very good work being done at the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development and all its agencies, the LSA and the agency responsible for this here today, the HDC. And as Line Minister, allow me to put the spotlight on the truth of the National Housing Policy and the Ministry's Affordable Housing Program, both of which are products of PNM policy. In 2002, just to give it some historical context, the PNM administration implemented the National Housing Policy, which was comprehensive in addressing the very real need of affordable housing here in Trinidad and Tobago. And the policy remains as relevant as it was then. National housing policy focuses on the shelter needs for those low and middle income earners by providing opportunities, as with the HDC, for affordable rental accommodation and the affordable rent-to-own arrangements for those who may not be able to service a mortgage at the time. It also allows for persons to access affordable home financing interest rates through the TTMF, housing grants and subsidies to assist existing homeowners to carry out much-needed repairs to their homes. The policy also allowed for the regularization of certain squatters through the provision of certificates of comfort, statutory leases, and deeds of lease to those eligible who were occupying state lands prior to 1998 in order to regularize their status and improve their standard and quality of life. Over the years, and whenever the PNM has been in office, we have always looked at ways to improve our various programs within the housing sphere so that housing programs are not only viable, but remain affordable and accessible to those in society who need it most. During the period 2003 to 2009, following the introduction of the latest National Housing Policy and the Accelerated Housing Program, the Ministry was responsible for the construction of over 15,000 housing units at a cost of $5.5 billion. This was at a time when revenues were a lot better than they are today. Let's fast track now to 2015 to today in 2017, when this PNM administration entered office following the People's Partnership government. And what we found was a housing sector in need, like many of the units, in urgent repair. We met housing developments which were started prior to 2010, being abandoned and left to deteriorate, open to the criminal element, even when the demand for housing continued unabated. This administration has had to find the funds, albeit in short supply, required to repair and complete these units. But ladies and gentlemen, we continue to do what was necessary despite our economic realities. We continued to do all that we could to complete, repair in some instances, all the unfinished units and to deliver them as soon as they become available to all deserving families in need of affordable shelter. Under this administration, ladies and gentlemen, the home seeker, the citizen, remains at the center of our housing policy. Over the past year, we were able to complete work, as the managing director said, on 4 developments, which provided 1,089 housing units. In terms of allocation, we were able to distribute 1,300 units over 2016, the year 2016 to present. And we will continue to deliver many more by the end of December 2017. This is in keeping with our promise to you. We have also begun work on 6 new developments which are expected to yield approximately 1,200 units for those who meet the requirements. Ladies and gentlemen, we knew that the HDC had lost its moorings during the years 2010 to 2015, when it shifted from building low-cost housing units to building housing units costing upwards of $1.3 million, or even $3 million per apartment unit in the case of the Victoria Keys, the same development that the opposition seems to have a problem with now. To compound matters, the last administration increased the qualifying income ceiling from $25,000 to $45,000, which catered to the upper middle income earners, crowding out the lower middle income earners. So what did we do? We fixed these deficiencies by reverting the HDC to its original mandate of constructing well-designed, affordable housing units under $750,000, which will benefit the majority of applicants on the HDC's database. We also reverted the income ceiling to $25,000 so that those who really require the state's assistance where it relates to affordable housing can receive it. Additionally, to ensure that first-time potential homeowners can fully access our affordable housing program, we expanded our affordable mortgage program through the TTMF so that more people can afford housing in Trinidad and Tobago. In an attempt to improve the revenue stream, because we can no longer depend on the Treasury, we continued our mortgage conversion caravan to encourage clients to transition from interim housing arrangements under the license to occupy or rent-to-own arrangements to mortgages. Thus far, the HDC has been able to convert 843 of those arrangements to mortgages to the value of $317 million, which means that we now have more money through the conversion of these rent-to-own and license-to-occupy arrangements to continue to construct houses for persons just like you in need of affordable shelter. This past week, the squatter regularization program was in the spotlight. The ministry, through the Land Settlement Agency, has worked tirelessly over the past 2 years to upgrade and improve the living conditions to those certificate of comfort holders who would have occupied state lands prior to 1998. Through our decision to speed up and complete this long and protracted process, we are now able to offer these certificate of comfort holders statutory deeds and marketable deeds of lease. It is quite clear from what I've been seeing in one of the daily newspapers that there are still a lot of people out there who are ignorant of the State Land Regularization of Tenure Act of 1998. So for their benefit and for the benefit of the national community, let me just reiterate a few points. The policy and the provisions of the Act have been around for the last 19 years. And the provisions of the Act ensure that infrastructural upgrades are carried out in 250 designated areas where squatters reside, and those squatters go through a process of regularization. A listing of the 250 areas are listed in the Act. You see, ladies and gentlemen, the regularization of squatters involves a very clear process, at the end of which the eligible squatter is issued with a deed of lease, which bestows upon him or her the benefits of security of tenure and the equity and wealth that goes with owning your own land and your own home. In order to be eligible for the receipt of a deed of lease, eligible squatters must first be issued with a certificate of comfort. Only the holders of certificates of comfort will be allowed to purchase the land they occupy once they have fulfilled all the requirements of the Act. The final stage of the three-step process will be the offer of deeds of lease in exchange for a premium which the Cabinet has approved at 25% of the market value. In other words, the land will cost the certificate of comfort holder 25% of the market value for those lands. The decision to provide eligible squatters with title to their properties is in keeping with the Ministry's mandate to facilitate home ownership for the most vulnerable in society. The recipients will now be considered legitimate landowners with all its attendant rights and benefits. In recognizing our diminishing revenue streams and the need to produce more housing solutions to satisfy the demand for affordable housing, government has introduced a suite of creative and innovative incentives to attract private sector investment and private sector monies into the housing sector so as to increase the housing stock while relying less on government expenditure. Another new initiative which I am extremely proud to promote is government's aided self-help housing program, which was launched by the Ministry of Housing yesterday. This program is aimed at empowering low and middle income earners to manage the construction of their own homes with financial and technical support provided by the state. We believe the benefits will go a long way in enhancing the quality of life for those who are willing and able to apply. This program will provide fully serviced residential lots at 30% of its market value, between $45,000 to $80,000. It will also allow beneficiaries to access the 2% and the 5% subsidized mortgage facilities from the Trinidad and Tobago Mortgage Finance Company, the TTMF. Pre-approved house plans and oversight assistance for the construction of high-quality affordable homes is also available in assistance to those beneficiaries under this program. The Ministry and its partner agencies are enthusiastic about this program, as I am, as it will increase the national housing stock without increasing government expenditure. It will also provide a multiplier effect that will stimulate the economy and facilitate employment for many of the country's skilled and semi-skilled laborers. This program will offer yet another solution to those desirous of home ownership with the assistance of the state. The Ministry's main focus, contrary to our detractors, is to ensure that every deserving low to middle income family has the opportunity to enjoy the peace of mind of knowing that they have safe and affordable shelter. These dreams can be realized through an affordable rental unit, an affordably priced housing unit, the grants and subsidies made available by the ministry, and the regularization of land occupiers, or, in the case of the aided self-help housing program, affordable, fully serviced lots to be used in the construction of housing units by the homeowner themselves. As government has promised, it will continue to review its housing programs so that they always remain viable, regardless of the economic circumstances that we face. Because we want you to understand that we know that affordable shelter is important to you. I want you to know that we will always make the best decisions in the best interest of all citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, so that the state's housing programs remain affordable and accessible to those who need it most. So, allow me to take the opportunity to thank all those who are involved in making this event today happen. The management and staff at the HDC, management, permanent secretary, staff at the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, and I wish you all the best, all the luck, all the success with your new housing units. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for giving me an opportunity to address you here today. Good afternoon.